one day 175, where we just tried to go live, but the stream crashed. So let's try one more time. So today we're reading from June 24th because we're 2 days early. And we're reading from 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7, Acts 15, 36 through 16, Psalms 142, 1 through 7, and then Proverbs 17, 24 through 25 to wrap up this nice read. Um, we're going to read not super fast, but we're gonna be reading. I might not look up at chat as much. I'm trying to get back in the house, um, just spend some time with the folks. So let's get into the read tonight, chat. Hey, listening is open, ready to hear the word. So let's get into it. 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7, going through verse 20. So one day the group of prophets came to Elisha and told him, as you can see, this place where we meet you is too small. And let's go down to the Jordan River, where there are plenty of logs. Then we can build a new place for us to meet. Then we can build a new place for us to meet. All right, he told them. Hey, Nana. All right, he told them, go ahead. Please come with us, someone suggested. I will, he said. So he went with them. When they arrived in Jordan, they began cutting down trees. But as one of them was cutting a tree, his axe fell into the river. Oh, sir, he cried. It was a borrowed axe. Where did it fall? The man of God asked. When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick and threw it into the water at the spot. Then the axe floated to the surface. Grab it, Elisha said, and the man reached out and grabbed it. When the king of Aram was at war with Israel, he would come forward with his officers and say, "We will mobilize our forces at such and such a place." But immediately Elisha, the man of God, will warn the king of Israel, "Do not go near that place. The Arameans are planning to mobilize a troop there." So the king of Israel will send word to the place indicated by the man of God. And time and again, Elisha warned the king so that he will be on alert there. The king of Aram became very upset over this. He called his officers together and demanded, "Which one of you is the traitor, who has been informing the king of Israel of my plans?" "It's not us, my lord the king," one of the officers replied. "Elisha the prophet in Israel tell the king of Israel even the words you speak in privacy of your bedroom. Go and find out where he is," the king commanded, "so I can send troops to seize him." And a report came back. "Elisha is at Dothan." So one night the king of Aram sent a great army with many chariots and horses to surround the city. When the servant of the man of God got up early in the morning and went outside, there were troops, horses, and chariots everywhere. "Oh, sir, what will we do now?" the young man cried to Elisha. "Don't be afraid," Elisha told him, "for there are more on our side than on theirs." Then Elisha prayed, "O Lord, open his eyes and let him see." The Lord opened the young man's eyes, and when he looked up, he saw that the hillside around Elisha was filled with horses and chariots of fire. As the Aramean army advanced toward him, Elisha prayed, "O Lord, please make them blind." So the Lord struck them with blindness, as Elijah had asked. Then Elisha went out and told them, "You have come the wrong way. This isn't the right city. Follow me, and I will take you to the man you are looking for." And he led them to the city of Samaria. As soon as they entered Samaria, Elisha prayed, "O Lord, now open their eyes and let them see." So the Lord opened their eyes, and they discovered that they were in the middle of Samaria. When the king of Israel saw them, he shouted to Elisha, "My father, should I kill them? Should I kill them?" "Of course not," Elisha replied. "Do we kill prisoners of war? Give them food and drink, and send them home again to their master." So the king made a great feast for them, and then sent them home to their master. After that, the Aramean raiders stayed away from the land of Israel. Sometime later, however, King Ben-Hadad of Aram mustered his entire army and besieged Samaria. As a result, there was a great famine in the city, and the siege lasted so long that a donkey's head sold for 80 pieces of silver, and a cup of dove dung sold for 5 pieces of silver. One day, as the king of Israel was walking along the wall of the city, a woman called to him, "Please help me, my lord the king." He answered, "If the Lord doesn't help you, what can I do? I have neither food from the threshing floor nor the wine from the press to give you." But then the king asked, "What is the matter?" She replied, "This woman said to me, 'Come on, let's eat your son today. Then we'll eat then we'll eat my son tomorrow.' So we cooked my son and ate him. Then the next day I said to her, 'Kill your son so we can eat him.' But she had hidden her son." When the king heard this, he tore his clothes in despair As the king walked along the wall, the people could see that he was also wearing burlap under his robe next to his skin. May God strike me and even kill me if I don't separate Elisha's head from his shoulders to this very day, the king vowed. Elisha was sitting in his house with the elders of Israel when the king sent a messenger to summon him. But before the messenger arrived, Elisha said to the elders, "A murderer has sent a man to cut off my head. When he arrives, shut the door and keep him out. We will soon hear his master's steps following him." While Elisha was still saying this, the messenger arrived, and the king said, "All this misery is from the Lord. Why should I wait for the Lord any longer?" Elisha replied, "Listen to this message from the Lord. This is what the Lord says. By this time tomorrow, in the markets of Samaria, 6 quarts of choice flour cost only a piece of silver, and 12 quarts of barley grain will only cost 1 piece of silver." The officer assisting the king said to the man of God, "That couldn't happen, even if the Lord opened the windows of heaven." But Elisha replied, "You will see it happen with your own eyes, but you won't be able to eat any of it." Now there were 4 men with leprosy sitting at the entrance of the city gates. "Why should we sit here waiting to die?" they asked each other. "We will starve if we stay here. With the name, but the famine in the city, we will starve if we go back there. So we might as well go out and surrender to the Armenian army. If they let us live, so much the better. But if they kill us, we would have died anyway." So at twilight they set out for the camp of the Armenians. But when they came to the edge of the camp, no one was there. For the Lord had caused the Armenian army to hear the clatter of speeding chariots and the galloping of horses and the sounds of a great army approaching. The king of Israel had hired the Hittites and Egyptians to attack us, they cried to one another. So they panicked and ran into the night, abandoning their tents, horses, donkeys, and everything else as they fled for their lives. While the men with leprosy arrived at the edge of the camp, they went into one tent after another, eating and drinking wine, and they carried off silver and gold and clothing and hid it. Finally, they said to each other, "This is not right. This is a day of good news, and we aren't sharing it with anyone. If we wait until morning, some calamity will certainly fall upon us. Come on, let's go back and tell the people at the palace." So they went back to the city and told the gatekeepers what had happened. We went out of the Armenian camp," they said, "and no one was there. The horses and donkeys were tethered, and the tents were all in order, but there wasn't a single person around." Then the gatekeep then the gatekeepers shouted the news to the people in the palace. The king got out of bed in the middle of the night and told his officers, "I know what's happened. The Armenians know we are starving, so they have left their camp and have hidden in the fields. They are expecting us to leave the city, and then they will take us alive and capture the city." One of his officers replied, "We had better send out scouts to check into this. Let them take 5 of the remaining horses. If something happens to them, it will be no worse than if they stay here and die with the rest of us." So the 2 chariots with the horses were prepared, and the king sent scouts to see what had happened to the Armenian army. They went all the way to the Jordan River, following a trail. Laying a car. Well, house is pretty packed out right now. I got family in there. What's up, Candace? How you doing, Julia? How you doing, Ayush? Cinnamon, how you doing? No problem. Hey, what's up, Niche? Hey, I'm glad I caught you, you know? It's so late that it's early. Okay, where was that? Okay. Following a trail of clothing and equipment to the Armenians had thrown away in their mad rush to escape. The scouts returned and told the king about it. Then the people of Samaria rushed out and plundered the Armenian camp. So it was true that 6 quarts of choice flour were sold that day for 1 piece of silver, and 12 quarts of barley grain were sold for 1 piece of silver, just as the Lord had promised. The king appointed his officer to control the traffic at the gate, but he was knocked down and trampled to death as the people rushed out. So everything happened exactly as the man of God had predicted when the king came to his house. The man of God had said to the king, "By this time tomorrow, in the markets of Samaria, 6 quarts of choice flour will cost 1 piece of silver, and 12 quarts of barley grain will cost 1 piece of silver." The king's officer had replied, "That couldn't happen even if the Lord opened the windows of heaven." And the man of God had said, "You will see it happen with your own eyes, but you won't be able to eat any of it." And so it was, for the people trampled him to death at the gate. And now Acts, how you doing, Brady? Light just went out. uh, well, it's gonna be a little darker. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry. Uh, well, we're gonna read like this, okay? Okay, Acts 15:36 through 16. After some time, okay. After some time, Paul said to Barnabas, "Let's go back and visit each city where we previously preached the word of the Lord, to see how the new believers are doing." Barnabas agreed and wanted to take along John Mark, But Paul disagreed strongly, since John Mark had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not continued with them in their work. Their disagreement was so sharp that they separated, and Barnabas took John Mark with him and sailed to Cyprus. Paul chose Silas, and as he left, the believers entrusted him to the Lord's gracious care. Then he traveled throughout Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches there. Paul went first to Derbe and then to Lystra, where there was a young disciple named Timothy. His mother was a Jewish believer, but his father was a Greek. Timothy was well thought of by the believers in Lystra and Iconium. So Paul wanted to join them on their journey. In deference to the Jews of the area, he arranged for Timothy to be circumcised before they left, for everyone knew that his father was a Greek. Then they went from town to town, instructing the believers to follow in Jerusalem, to follow the decisions made by the apostles and elders in Jerusalem. So the churches were strengthened in their faith and grew larger every day. Next, Paul and Silas traveled through the area of Phrygia and Galatia, because the Holy Spirit had prevented them from preaching the word in the province of Asia at that time. They coming to the borders of Mysia, they headed north for the province of Bithynia. But again, the Spirit of Jesus did not allow them to go there. So instead, they went through Mystia to the seaport of Troas. And that night, Paul had a vision. A man from Macedonia in northern Greece was standing there pleading with him, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." So we decided to leave Macedonia for Macedonia at once. Thank you, I appreciate it. Every day. And we gonna try to fit it, make sure we get it in every single day. Um, so we decided to leave for Macedonia at once, having concluded that God was calling us to preach the good news there. We boarded a boat at Troas and sailed straight across the island of Samothrace. And the next day we landed in Neapolis. From there we reached Philippi, a major city of the district of Macedonia and a Roman colony, and we stayed there several days. On the Sabbath, we went a little way outside the city to a riverbank where we thought people would be meeting for prayer. And we sat down to speak with some women who had gathered there. One of them was Lydia from Thyatira, a merchant of expensive purple cloth, who worshiped God. As she listened to us, the Lord opened her heart, and she accepted what Paul was saying. She and her household were baptized, and she asked us to be her guest. "If you agree that I am a true believer in the Lord," she said, come and stay at my home." And she urged us until we all agreed. And now Psalms 142, 1 through 7. I cried to the Lord. I plead for the Lord's mercy. I pour out my complaints before him and tell him all my troubles. When I am overwhelmed, you alone know why I should turn wherever I go. My enemies have set traps for me. I look for someone to come and help me, but no one gives me a passing thought. No one will help me, and no one cares a bit what happens to me. Then I pray to you, O Lord. I say, "You are my grace, a refuge. You are all I really want in life. Hear my cry, for I am very low, and rescue me from my persecutors, for they are too strong for me. Bring me out of prison so I can thank you. The godly will crowd around me, for you are good to me." And now Proverbs 17:24 through 25 says that, "But people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. Foolish children bring grief to their father and bitterness to the one who gave them birth." And now the eyes have it. It'd be a little hard to show y'all this, but hopefully y'all can see that. The eyes have it. The eyes have it. The eyes are supernaturally powerful. They download love into the heart of a newborn when parents gaze into the eyes of the baby. Eyes can see nuances that reveal a person's true character. They are focused keenly on another individual, but they can also lead us astray. Wandering, lusting eyes look every way possible, and sometimes they see what they do not have and seek out selfish pleasure from someone they have no right to be with. Look straight ahead and be careful what you look at. Oh, that's my nana, and that's my real name. It's funny. That's my nana, and that's my real name. Okay, chat, I'm gonna turn off this camera really quickly, and I'm going to ask for wisdom, clarity, and discernment on today's read, and I'll be right back. Okay, chat, we're back. Okay, so let's talk about today's word. So today we read from 2 Kings 6, 1 through 20. We followed it up with oop, Acts 15, 36 through 16, then Psalms 142, 1 through 7, and then wrap up tonight's read with Proverbs 17, 24 through 25. Okay, so sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. Foolish children bring grief to their father and bitterness to the one who gave them birth. Um, you know, this is another verse to remind us where our help comes from, right? Um, we don't have to look all over the place. We don't have to go this place or read this book or read that book or talk to this person or that person. Um, we just need to learn how to talk to God and be comfortable talking to God. Today, something came across me, and it was um, guiltlessness. It's funny I said not to listen to this book and that book, but I was listening to an audiobook, and but guiltlessness, right? Um, and in order to truly talk to God, you have to be ready to let go of whatever guilt you have. Um, so um, it's it it turns out um, that as I went through my own space, um, I was like, oh man, this is I need to ask God for more help with this part of my life, definitely, um, just so I can have more peace, right? Um, we gonna talk about this chat. I ain't gonna lie, I be tearing up, but I feel like my family coming to see me now was God working everything perfectly in my favor. He knew I needed to be at peace with something um, that I would not give myself peace about. I felt really guilty about leaving home and leaving my little sisters and my mom and being across the country, and it was driving me crazy, um, to be completely honest. But this was God telling me that I can't do what I truly want to do until I let go of that. And I just appreciate the fact that they came and just saw me, and I just got to spend time with them instead of being sad about the fact that they got to leave. And for my effort to achieve the goal I want to achieve, that I gotta let go of that guilt of leaving home and feeling like I left them. I'm doing good, bro. These are, you know, I promise I'm not sad. This is like, I don't know I don't want to say, I mean, maybe like wisdom tears. I really don't know. I had the most mature, uh, thought about tomorrow when I have to take them to the airport. Um, And instead of how I previously felt, I was sad and I would beat myself up when I would leave because I had to leave them again. I just was extremely grateful I just got to see them. We had a blast. We had a great weekend, great week. I truly don't have anything to be sad about. So I just got to ask God for a little more help to keep moving forward and letting go of that guilty feeling that I have and that I had. Um, because it's still here. And so I still have every second right now to spend with them, right? And to be completely honest, the guilt made me stay away. Like it was counterproductive. The guilt was so counterproductive. It will make me not want to go see them because I felt so bad every time I had to leave. And that's just completely counterproductive. Talking about Proverbs 17:24-25. Sensible people get their eyes glued on wisdom, but a fool's eyes wander to the end of the earth. Foolish children bring grief to their father and bitterness to the one who gave them birth. Um, and uh, this brought something up that I heard that I was listening to earlier, where I felt really guilty about leaving home and feeling like I left my sisters behind and my mom behind, and like it was weighing on me and driving me crazy. Yeah, my little sister probably did. Um, it was weighing on me and driving me crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Um, and it made me feel so bad that I didn't even wanna go home because I would always it would just remind me how bad I felt for leaving home. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And I had to let go of the guilty feeling in order to achieve the dream I have. In order to achieve the dream I have, I must let go of the guilty feeling so I can, you know, do my part. So, appreciate it, bro. But let's keep on going over today's word because I do wanna go now. That so I do wanna go spend some more time with them before they go, so, let's keep going over to today's word, though. But thank y'all for hearing me out. I appreciate it, bro, but it's all good. Facts, niche, facts. And let's talk about 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7. Okay, so 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7 is more a verse more about patience. So the reason why it's more about patience is because Elisha was telling the king everything that needed to happen. Just just start talking to God. Um, and honestly, this verse right here is probably a good one to take in. So, 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7. So here in this verse, we're talking about the king and Elisha. So Elisha kept informing the king of when everything was going to happen. Facts. Facts niche. Started was informing the king about whatever was happening, right? But then the king became impatient when he started to feel a famine, right? And we can put this in our own lives where sometimes we start to feel impatient when we feel like nothing is happening. We feel like our time is running low, right? Whenever we start to feel like time is running out, when we start to believe in time, and that God isn't working perfectly in our favor, right? Um, then we start to get anxious. We start to get angsty. Thank you, Nana. Um, oh, but when we start thinking about the time that's going by, we start to get anxious. We start to think that God's not doing it. But this is a story to learn from because the king, he got anxious when he saw what was happening to his people, right? Um, and what they were doing inside the kingdom, and that they were surrounded, and that before all the other times, Elisha would come to him and tell him everything that was going to happen. But then, as soon as he felt like the answer wasn't coming to him as quick as he wanted it to, um, no problem, man, for sure, no problem, man, for sure. Um, but when the king was thinking that everything wasn't coming, um, what's up? You go in the chat right now, bro. Go in the chat right now. I'll read whatever you got to say. Um, but yeah, when the king thought it wasn't happening the way he was expected, this way it had usually happened, right? Um, he was so angry at Elisha that he swore that he would kill him by the end of the day, right? Um, and that's the lesson that we need to learn here, right? We need to be slow to anger, right? We need to be slow to jump into conclusions of assuming that God is not helping us, right? Because God is always working in our favor. Everything happens perfectly in line and in your favor, right? It's not based on the time. God does everything instantaneously, right? Well, the first thing there is to begin to go inside, um, the and see, not that you're lacking anything, right? But to go inside and realize that you're not lacking anything. You're not missing anything. Um, you're already the best version of you possible at this very second right now. You're the best version of you possible, and you only keep getting better, right? Um, and every day. Every time you wake up, you're the best version of you possible. Every single step that you take, you're the best version of you possible, right? But right now, you may not believe that you are that. Um, then you have options, right? You can sit down and just call God's name and just have that conversation and just go about your day. Don't be anxious about a response. Don't be anxious about anything. Just let it be shown to you. Like God works in mysterious ways. Um, God works in mysterious ways. It's not always talking back to us, right? It can be like just random things popping up in your life that you just talked to God about, right? God is letting you know that He hears you, right? It's like when you go in the store, you're thinking about um, uh, black paper walls, and you walk in the store. The first thing you see in the store is black paper walls. That's God just showing you that He hears you, right? Um, it's just little God works in mysterious way. These are the little small signs that God hears you, right? Um, so and all you have to do is take that time to what the John? What's up, Skid? How you doing, man? But God hears you. So it doesn't have always be the response you're looking for, but it's a message that God is saying that I hear you. I hear what you're talking about. I just need you to be okay with yourself, right? And that's it. For sure, man. And I hope you stay along for the journey for sure. Because I'm learning as well, and everything I'm learning, I'm also sharing. Um, It's all good. Um, facts, niche. Um, it's just sometimes it's just the songs that randomly play in order. It's all good. What are you talking about? That's funny. Sometimes it's random songs that play it through my playlist. I was talking to God about something, and a random song that I haven't heard in forever plays in my playlist. You know, he's telling you to that I'm listening to you. I hear you. He's saying I hear you. Now, this is what I need from you, right? So, you know, make it as easy as possible on yourself. So um, God is saying that I want you to get into my word a little more. I want you to learn about me. Um, um, I want you to learn about me. So, but let's keep on reading. Let's keep on going over the day's word. Hey, my sunburns also are not as bad as they were yesterday. Okay. Um, but 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7 was about patience. To not get upset. Um, it's all good, bro. There is nothing wrong with the sidebars. I always appreciate them. It's you chatting, and these chats may help you, right? Um, just these simple conversations that we have, they may help you. Um, I learn a lot from having these little conversations that we have in the chat. They help me too. So um, I appreciate you helping me, and I appreciate you, being open for yourself, right? But for 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7, that was about patience. Sometimes we get angry when things don't happen exactly the way we think they're supposed to happen, right? Um, and the king here in 2 Kings 6, 1 through 7, he got upset with Elisha because Elisha had been giving him the go ahead on everything that was happening. And when it didn't happen at one time and he saw what was happening around him, he was so upset that he swore that he would kill him, and it ended up being the end of him because he was so quick to anger. So let's be slower to anger. Let's be slower to make our assumptions about believing that God is not hearing us. Let's see the other signs that God hears us rather than worrying about the ones that we believe he doesn't hear. Right. And let's go to the next verse today. So Acts 15:36 through 16. Um, hey bro, I really appreciate you being honest and sharing your story. Um, you know, it- when we come together and we're open with each other, it really does a lot for each one of us. You know, you don't know if you help somebody else in the chat who has never chatted in the chat before, chat for the first time and be open for the first time because you're so honest and open. Um, so um, I honestly just appreciate you sharing your story. Um, I mean, I'm sorry that things happen that way that happen in your life, but you sharing your story, it can be something that opens a door for somebody else. Um, and I appreciate you being so open with us. Okay, so and here in Acts 15:36 through 16, Um, we're we're talking about how Paul was sharing the word, but in different places, God told him that to move to a different place first, right? That he was needed somewhere else, right? So sometimes we really want to do something in this way, but we're needed somewhere else to do the same thing in a different place, right? So when God has called us to do this thing, don't try to force your way. Right. I know you want it to be your way. I know you want it to be the way you envision it going, but sometimes we have to listen to God and allow Him to put us in the right place. Right. Um, so and Paul trusted him and he moved. He could have stayed and did whatever he wanted to, but he trusted God and he moved to the place that he needed to be at to speak to the specific people that he needed to speak to in that place. Um, I appreciate that. I feel that. So I felt that. Thank you. What we do. Oh, and we're gonna end the stream here 2 minutes before 12. 2 minutes before 12. I feel like that's a great way to end today's stream. No problem. Always willing to listen, bro. Have a great conversation, and I really appreciate you feeling like you open up to me. I appreciate that, um, and I appreciate you hearing me out. I opened up earlier first, so I appreciate that as well. So. Let's hit this outro and wrap up this night on a great time. Yeah, for sure, for sure. We'll have to set something up here in the future. But let's hit this outro, right? So we all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank you for giving me the most valuable thing you could have given me, which is your presence. I really appreciate it every single time. There's nothing more valuable you can give me. So, um, you have a great one. Um, And I'm gonna see you next time. Peace. See you later, niece. See you later, Slip. And see you later. Anybody else is still in the chat. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Peace.